Man, it is a beautiful Saturday morning out here. I'm about to start my chores. And I'm starting here because I want to show you, see this spot right here? This is about the point of view that last night my wife took a picture of an alligator, and I'm going to put the picture up here. It was right there. And I want to show you just so you can get an idea of the scale. Biggest alligator I have ever seen in this bayou, and I grew up here. So I was inside. She took a picture. She came in and said, I think there's an alligator out there, but I'm not sure because it doesn't go away when I go out there near it. And alligators are very, very shy. Usually when you go near one in the daytime, they go under. So I came out, and by the time I did, I see a V going that way. And so I hustled down to the end of our property, and this looks like a big alligator. Now, my point of view, all I can see is the head, but that's a big head. So I called my neighbor over here, and I asked him if I can come into his yard because there's a large alligator going down the bayou, out the bayou, toward the bay, and I want to see how big he is. And he said, of course. And I've got my binos with me. And that thing was about 10, 12 feet long. And he just steamed on out and went out the bay. And my neighbor was out there with me, and he saw him, and he agreed that that's the biggest alligator he'd seen in this bayou. And he's fished this bayou his whole life, and I've lived here a good bit of my life. And we were very impressed. But like I said, he went out the bayou and into the bay. And some of you may be surprised that they do that, but yeah, you see alligators in the bay all the time. And so hopefully he lives somewhere else, and he was just visiting a neighbor or looking for dinner. I don't know. I hope he doesn't live here because, and I don't think he does because I would have seen him before now. He was huge. But that is not what this video is about. I was glancing at my YouTube channel, and I noticed that I had not done a chicken video in a long time. Not that there was a lot of clamoring for me to do a chicken video, but as I learn things through the years as I have chickens, I like to share them. And last time I did a video, about 5 months ago, I had just finished this chicken tractor right here. And I'd like to do an update. Now, since that time, I've gotten in a big mess of meat chickens, and I raised them and killed them. And I also, at the same time, got some new layers because the fox last year got most of my layers. I was down to 3 older chickens. Only one was laying at the time. So now those girls have grown enough where I have put them in to this large chicken tractor along with the old girls. So now what you have in there, if you can see, are 12 chickens. 2 of them, one of my old girls died. 2 of them are older, and the rest of them are pretty young. And they aren't laying yet. So I have 12 chickens in this chicken tractor. And this is probably about max for this tractor. Now understand, I move this thing every single day. On weekends, twice a day. I've already moved it this morning, and I'll move it again this afternoon. And what I now have is a waterer over here, a feeder over here, and then I've added a waterer and a feeder here. When you introduce chickens together and you're trying to cut down on just the hate crimes and the turf wars that are bound to come with that, it's good if you can add a new waterer and feeder so that, you know, these guys don't feel like, well, that's my food and water, you can't have it. So this is being new, coming in at the same time as the new chickens. These old girls don't feel like, oh, I've got to beat you up every time you come near my feeder. Now, just real quick how I do this. Now you see these clear plastic containers I have in front of each feeder. I've done that because since I've moved this thing at least every day, any feed that gets knocked out of the feeder is lost unless I find a way of retaining it. So I took these plastic trays out of an old refrigerator, and if you're one of my 5 faithful, you know I don't throw away anything. And I had it in my resource pile, and I put them to use. So I've got them there so that the feed falls down as the chickens, are feeding out of the little feeder holes there, and no feed is lost when I move the tractor later in the day. So pretty much a standard chicken pen. I've only got two laying nests. I may end up adding one right here, but I'm just going to wait and see if I need to. My experience with chickens has been, even when I've had up to 12, they tend to all want to lay in the same nest. So I wonder if two won't do it for me. Now, here's the most interesting, in my opinion, change or addition to this chicken tractor. If you'll recall, I had built this wing, and the wing was accessible through this little doggy door that I pulled off of one of those little pet carriers, and I closed it at night, obviously, but in the daytime I let them go out and roam. And you can see I've added, if you're up on my chicken videos, I've added a second section to this wing. Pretty much, this is what is this? This is a 12 by 8 tractor. I've probably got that much square space in this wing. And it's just a simple thing. I've just taken some fencing and bent it over and attached it to some PVC pipe. And it's not really even attached to the tractor. I push it up hard against the tractor so that they can't get out. I used to attach it with carabiners, and I found out that just wasn't necessary. And what I do is, when I'm ready to move this thing daily or on weekends twice a day, I'll pull the wing out to give some clearance. I'll grab the tractor and just drag it that way on its wheels, and then I'll just pull this thing around and stick it back up there and open the door. And they love it. I have no problem with hawks anymore, which was a big problem here, because they're protected. The hawk can see that there's a fence there, and they don't even try. But they've got plenty of space to go, and you can see I've moved them this morning about 7. It's close to 10 now, and they've already been going to town on the ground. But it really doesn't tear up the ground that much. Let me go back and show you the last couple days, and you can see the trail where they were. And you can see where they'll make themselves some dirt baths, and they do that. But here in Florida, that grows back pretty quick, and they're leaving, just a nitrogen-rich environment. And you can't really see it probably yet, but there's going to end up being a green trail where they came. Matter of fact, you can still see some of the green trail from last time, and that's because the nitrogen from the chicken crap just really gives a shot, kind of like a multivitamin to the ground. And this ground needs it, because this is just a real sandy soil. Anyway, that's my chicken tractor, and I wanted to give an update. I am having some trouble with my Lowe's house wrap coming unwrapped, and I'm going to have to address that. I had it taped up, and it's frayed, and I'm going to have to retape that. But that's my chicken tractor. Not much to it, but it's kind of a neat idea. I'm happy with it, and at least for the foreseeable future, this is how I'm going to raise my chickens. I'm good with 12. That's more than enough for me. I'll move them around. I've got the room to move them around. It probably takes close to 2 weeks to make them a circle around the property, and I really like that. I feel like it's very low impact on the ground, and yet it gives them the closest thing to a free-range environment that they could have while still being safe. Hey, thanks for watching.